When you're working with Microsoft lists that have a lot of information, it's important to know how to sort, filter, and group your data so that you're not stuck endlessly scrolling through a lot of items. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to do those things, and I'm going to show you how sort and filter is different depending on the view that you choose. First, if we click the drop down next to a column, you're going to look for Filter By. A pane will open on the right side of the screen. The selected column is choice, so we can choose one of the available options. For example, put a check mark next to For Approval. Then click Apply. At the top of the list, you will see the choice pill indicating which filters are active. Let's say that today we only need to see high priority items. Click the drop down next to the priority column and add the second criteria. Now we can see two different filters are in place. If you want to remove one, click the X next to the filter. To remove all filters, go to the right side of the screen and click Clear. It's important to know that if you have a multiple line of text field in your list, you will not see the option to filter by that criteria. The other way that you can filter your list data is to go to the top of the screen towards the right-hand side and click the filter icon. This will show you some of the options that you can use to filter your list. If we were to go and do the exact same filter we did before, I can click For Approval. But notice as I scroll through this list that I don't see priority. I've never found a clear answer in the Microsoft documentation that says why some columns are pinned to the filters pane by default and others aren't. But you can go and click the drop down next to the column that you want, in this case, priority. Then we can go to column settings and choose pin to the filters pane. Now the priority option is at the top of the filters pane. So we can say, I want things for approval, but only show me high priority. And this is the same list that we saw by selecting the two different headings before. One of the benefits of using the filter pane is that you can quickly switch the filter criteria without having to select the multiple drop downs for the headers. So now I'm looking at everything that's for approval for policy updates specifically. Now, the filters are not persistent. So if you have a favorite filter that you like to use, you can go to the drop down next to your current view and click Save View As to create an additional view so that you don't have to go in and select the criteria every single time. The next way to slice and dice your information in a list view is Group By. Click the icon to the right of Filter. A drop-down list will appear with the available options. Just like filters, you cannot group information by a multiple lines of text column. To demonstrate grouping, I will select Deliverable. Every deliverable type will have its own collapsible section. If any list items are missing the selected data, they will be grouped under the unassigned category. By default, all the sections are open, but you can collapse them all to make it easier to look for specific items. To do that, go to the left side of the screen and you will see a little tiny drop-down arrow. Now we just see the headers for deliverable type with a number next to each one indicating how many items fit the criteria. Even if you don't always need to group your data, one useful way to use this option is to look for unassigned data in any of the columns. Let's switch the grouping to Sent to Leader. In the original case study, one of the manager's criteria is to enter a date whenever a task is sent to the senior leader. Now I can do a quick review. 3 items are marked as complete, but they do not have a date. Because the leader marked them as complete, I know that they were sent, so the information is missing. This can be an indication that somebody forgot to update the list and you just need to send them a reminder. But if you're seeing a pattern where several people are not updating, it could be they just don't know how to use the list you created, and it could be a training issue. The next option we have for changing how we see our information is sort. Now, by default, lists is going to sort by the ID number that is assigned in the background whenever you create a new list item. It starts at 1 and just keeps counting up. One of the most common reasons people want to use a sort is they want to track the information by a date instead of the number that lists assigns every time an item is added. In this example, I'm going to switch it to deadline for leader. Now, notice that anything that's empty is at the top of the list, and the default is to sort from older to newer, though you can select newer to older. An option that is often overlooked is to sort by custom order. What this does is it allows you to select an item and then drag and drop it anywhere you want it to be on the list. You can even select more than one item to drag and drop. So in this example, I have two items where the deadline is in December, and I want them to be at the top of the list. Custom sort is persistent, and in most circumstances, that means that you can leave this view and come back, and your items will still be in the same order. There is an exception that we'll talk about at the end of the video. Now we're going to look at how to sort and filter on other view types. I'm going to select Priority Tracker, which was set up as a board view. It's already sorted by status because that's the choice column that we used to set up the different buckets. Even though we have our information organized by the status, if you look through these columns, there's still a lot to scroll through. So this is where the filter can come in handy to narrow down the information. Let's use the priority column again and narrow it down by high priority. Now you can see only the 4 items on the board that fit that criteria instead of having to scroll through the columns and finding the individual items that are high priority. But you might be thinking, what happens if you don't see the filter option you want in the pane? The trick that you can use is to go to the toolbar in the upper left-hand side of the screen and click Edit in Grid View. This temporarily puts it in a list view. In this example, I want to filter by business line. So I can click the drop-down next to the column header, go to Column Settings, and click Pin to Filters pane. Once I do that, I can exit the grid view, open up the filter again, and now I have the option to filter by business line. Now let's look at the calendar view. Just like the board view, the data is already pre-sorted based on the date and title column that we selected when the view was set up. The difference with the calendar view is you automatically see this slider bar that helps you decide what you want to see on the calendar. So, for example, we can say the last 30 days, since yesterday, in the last 7 days, etc. You can also click on the link and choose specific dates. So, for example, this is a lot of information on the calendar right now, and I only want to see what was due at the end of December. Next, we're going to look at the gallery view, but right now it's hidden because there's not enough space on the toolbar. If you click the double arrows, you will see a list of all of your views. Although the gallery uses cards to display information like a board view, a choice column is not used to create buckets. The gallery is intended to showcase list items with attached images, but it still functions like a list view when it comes to filter, group, and sort. Let's use the same example we did earlier and click the filter icon and narrow the gallery view down to just the 4 high priority items. If we click the group icon, we can narrow it down by the same items that we had before, but the difference here is we don't have collapsible sections, so you will have to scroll through the different categories to find what you're looking for. When it comes to sorting on a gallery view, the default is actually custom order instead of ID. And that's because this view is designed to allow you to drag and drop the different cards into any order that makes sense to you. This is where we're going to talk about the exception to the custom sort being persistent that I mentioned earlier. For a list view, unless you already saved a preferred sort option, any changes that you make in the gallery view will impact your other list views. So, for example, on the gallery view, I have this new hiring onboarding checklist as the very first item. If we go to raw data, we have the exact same thing here. If I go back to gallery and let's say we move the vendor renewal comparison deck to the first slot, that's now the first thing on the raw data list. Let's say I don't want my raw data tab to be impacted by the gallery view, and in fact, I would rather sort it by status. What I can do is I can pick the sort that I prefer, click the drop down and say Save View. So now this view is going to always be sorted by status. Then when I go to the gallery view, if I put the new onboarding checklist back in the first position, if I go to raw data, it did not change my sort. The reason I like to point this out is I've been on the receiving end of panicked emails and help desk tickets where people think that their data is missing. Somebody deleted it. There's a Microsoft glitch. And really, it's that they don't know that custom sort can make the data move around and that it has an impact across the different views. So, what I suggest is if you're going to use custom sort, make sure that you either know that everybody on your team is aware of how custom sort can make the data move around, or set up individual sorts and save them for the different views so that the change you make on raw data doesn't impact gallery or vice versa. This will save a lot of frustration at the end of the day.